Welcome back to another episode of After the License. I'm your host, Jeff Buettner. This is the podcast where we help real estate agents build their business. As always, if you're listening to the podcast, make sure you check us out on YouTube. We have YouTube-specific trainings and videos we're releasing just for the YouTube channel that don't hit the podcast. And if you're watching on YouTube, know that you can subscribe to our podcast and get a majority of the content there where we do our podcasts. Okay, today we are going to talk about why it's important to calculate cost per lead and why it's important to calculate cost per conversion. So earlier this week, we talked on just the importance of tracking things, understanding where our leads are coming from, understand where our closings are coming from, starting to track things. Well, one of the things you should track is the numbers behind your business. Now, there's a lot of numbers you maybe should be thinking about and kind of calculating, but two that I think are underutilized, especially in the day and age of internet marketing, are cost per lead and cost per conversion. Cost per lead is calculated very simply. It's how much money did you spend on a lead generation source divided by the number of leads you generated. And I think you should do this for every single lead generation source that is kind of bringing in new business. It's not your database. It's not your sphere of influence. It's internet marketing. It's Facebook leads. It's Instagram leads. It's Google AdWords. Whatever that is, whatever that kind of new marketing you're doing to drum up new business, you should calculate cost per lead. Take the amount of money you spent and divide it by the number of leads you generated. The reason why cost per lead is so important is as you start to track it and you track it over time, you get kind of a running average. How much is it going to cost me to generate a lead if I do a Facebook ad, if I do this Google advertising, if I do a postcard to this neighborhood? And it allows you to track, right, how many leads you can actually get from a particular budget. So it's going to take some money in the front, right, to really kind of invest and start to understand these numbers, but you'll be getting leads in the process. But once you start to invest in not only the marketing, but invest time into actually calculating that cost per lead, it allows you to plan better for the future. You can say, okay, I know my cost per lead on Facebook advertising is $10 per lead. And if I spend $500, I can probably get 50 leads. Just knowing that becomes really, really beneficial for your business. Too often as agents, we kind of go with our gut feeling. We say, man, I really didn't feel like I got a lot of leads from this last 30 days. Great. Sometimes things are up and down. You should really look at what is your average cost per lead for the last 6 months or a year long doing that marketing technique. The other piece of this is cost per conversion. So once you actually get leads and you know your cost per lead and you start to generate leads, eventually those leads are going to turn into conversions. And what you really want to know, cost per lead is important, but the kind of biggest stat you want to think about is your cost per conversion. How many leads at what cost per lead did it take you to actually get a conversion? And that number becomes the holy grail for kind of comparing your marketing and your lead generation sources. And let me just give you a quick example. Maybe you're doing Facebook ads and you're generating leads for $5 a lead. And you're doing Google ads and you're generating leads for $10 a lead. If you just look at those, you might say, man, Facebook's a better lead generation source because I can get cheaper leads. What if with your Google ads, you actually had twice as many closings or 3 times as many closings? Your cost per conversion will help you determine that and can really help you build your business for the future. So the way you calculate cost per conversion is really simple. You take how many leads did it take to get this one conversion, and you take that and you times that by your cost per lead. So if it took you generating 50 leads at $10 per lead to get one conversion, you know your cost per conversion is about $500. Or you can take the total number of closings you've had and take the total amount of money you spent on advertising, and you can divide it by the number of closings you've had for that particular lead generation source, and you can come up with the same thing. So if you spend $1,000 on Facebook ads and you got 3 closings, you know your cost per conversion is about $333. Keeping track of these things, guys, can really help you start to think like a business, plan like a business, and actually start to organize yourself for your business moving forward. When you start to think about, okay, what do the next 6 months look like, or the next 12 months look like, you can start to pick and choose what you invest your time and your money in if you track these things, if you understand these numbers. Okay, guys, I hope that was helpful. As always, if you're on YouTube and you enjoyed the content, consider giving it a thumbs up. Also, make sure you check out the description. We've got links to a ton of goodies, such as the new Facebook group we've got coming out. So I encourage you to check out all of the notes and stuff we have in there. As always, I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you next time.